Peace and greetings. Who would you love to debate? That's our next topic here on the Street 16 podcast. If you could pick any fictional, historical, dead or alive person that you would want to debate. Is there conspiracy theorists who believe the earth is flat? Or the moon landing was fake? Or 9/11 was an inside job? Who you like to debate? Or would you like to debate the other side of those questions? Do you want to debate someone who blows up abortion clinics? Do you want to debate someone who doesn't support gay rights? Do you want to debate someone on something like religion, Christianity, Islam? Who would you love to debate if you could pick one person? And I guess I'm gonna go last, if that's all right. And I'm gonna go to my brother Byron first, and I'm gonna get Byron's answer. Who would you love to debate?
I would love to debate anybody who is a anti-Second Amendment, somebody who's anti-gun rights, anyone who believes that we should change the Constitution because of what you see going on today with these school shootings. And I love the debating and why. Why do they think that stiffer gun laws or stiffer penalties is going to change anything? Or those who think that you should just take guns out of the private citizens' hands. Because I mean, this is where this is leading to. So I would love to debate somebody on that.
And what would you say to them? Suppose I'm a sad mother from Sandy Hook who had a death in his family from a mass shooting, and I'm out there with my son yelling and crying and saying, "Take those guns! Take those guns!" How would you respond to this mom?
Well, I mean, it's a sad situation. Anybody who lost a loved one anyway. Taking the guns, though, will not solve the overall gun issue, and I don't think that everybody should have their gun rights taken away because one person decided to do something incredibly wrong. Taking a lot of innocent lives, children, adults, in any of these shootings. Something that is totally uncalled for, something that's totally wrong. However, I don't think you're going to solve the problem. You're penalizing everyone for the acts of a few people. Because the majority of people that own guns don't go out here and commit mass shootings. They don't go onto schools. They don't go to 7-Eleven. They don't meet people at the stoplight and just open fire on them. And there's a lot of guns out here. I think the number they say is like 3 guns for every American. And that's even in United States citizens, that's even including the children. And children don't carry guns. That's a lot of guns out here.
Most children don't carry guns.
Most don't carry guns. The majority don't.
So this debate, which has probably been going on forever, what would you say to the people who always say, okay, well, what about machine gun and automatic weaponry?
Well, for one, you can't get any fully automatic weaponry, machine guns on the streets. If they are, people that have them, they're going to break the law anyway. So that's going to be really hard to stop somebody who's dead set on breaking the law, who does not understand that technically you can't own one of those, or the average citizen can't own one of those and have that on the street. I think you have to have a federal firearms license to own a fully automatic or machine gun or rifle of that type. Everything else out here is you got the squeeze shot. So if somebody out here wants to have a fully automatic weapon and it's illegal, they're going to do that anyway. The law is not going to change that.
Now, I know you're not too much into politics, but you're informed. You think this is a losing issue for the Democrats?
Yes, it is. I think it's a losing issue because I really honestly believe it's the government in general. I don't think this is just a Democratic agenda. It's a government agenda overall to get some of these guns out of a lot of people's hands. People need to study history and understand why the Second Amendment was set up in the first place. It was for the average citizen to be able to protect themselves against maybe a rogue government or rogue government that has turned against the people. And you'll find, if you do your studies, you'll find a lot of things will say that your government has actually turned against you. I mean, the Supreme Court has ruled that the police are not there to protect and serve you. Matter of fact, if you do your checking, you'll find that most police cars have now taken protect and serve off of their cars. It's no longer on their cars anymore. So if you're not here to protect and serve us, exactly what are you here to do?
Ebony, you got anything to add, or do you want to just go to your car and turn in your gun, and I'll deliver it to Homeland Security for you?
I don't have a gun, but I have an arsenal of blades. So, I mean, I'm not turning in my blades.
Of course you do.
But, I mean, what he says makes sense. You know.
All right, great. That's
it just makes sense. It's like right now I don't really have a view as far as my view is going to be out of emotion. You know, because I do have kids, and I do have a daughter who's afraid to go to school because she thinks she's going to be shot, or her classmates are going to be shot, or her teachers are going to be killed trying to protect them. So right now, my view would be straight out of emotion because of what I'm dealing with at home. So I do understand the protection aspect of it. I do understand that the majority of people who own guns are not going out killing people. But I also understand that my child is afraid to go to school. Of all places to be afraid to go because of gun violence. She's afraid to go to school.
That's a shame. Okay.
But do you think changing these laws are going to, what would make her feel safe about going to school?
At this point,
What's the answer? You know?
At this point, I don't think anything would make her feel safe about going to school. She already has it in here and inside of her that at any moment she could be walking to the bus stop and get shot randomly. It may not even have anything to do with her, but just people shooting in general.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a target on her back. She could just be at the wrong place in the wrong time, and she understands that now. So changing the laws, I'm not pretty sure that would really help her at this point in her development.
Right.
Okay.
If you find a solution, let me know, because,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I don't think there's a solution. I think this is why Eric Holder said we must brainwash them away from wanting to own guns. This came out of Eric Holder's, former U.S. Attorney General's mouth. It's obvious to me that those who, more so the government, and that wants to take these guns out of people's hands. Anytime your U.S. Attorney General says we got to brainwash the public out of gun use, out of gun ownership. And there's not an accident that they run these scenarios on the news, national news, and it gets this full week coverage, and you get all of the human side, and usually before they have all of the facts, there's somebody on the news already. Well, what about stiffer gun legislation? I mean, they never miss a beat when this happens.
So do you think that all of these shootings, or there's a lot of them, so it's hard to say,
right.
But do you think that any of these shootings are not just a random disturbed individual, but part of a greater plan?
It's getting more now. I think it's gotten a little more sophisticated. I do believe it is an organized plan to get the people in fear.
By who?
Guns. By government officials, our government itself.
Okay.
I think they do not want the citizens armed. They pretty much got us on the thumb as is. The only thing I believe stopping certain entities in our government from letting us know what our true condition is, that they truly have total control over everybody, is the fact that the average American citizen has a gun. I think that stops them to a certain degree, knowing that there's 3 guns for every American out here. It kind of says, okay, if we do this, if we make moves against the public, and they know for certain that they're under tyranny, and that you are living in a situation where your government now is basically ripping up the Constitution and taking your right to own a gun or something like that away from them, what will the public turn into? How will they respond to that? I truly believe the fact that people own guns is the reason why they haven't fully just had us, totally under lock and key.
So that means that they would try another method to control the public is instead of taking their guns, they would try another method to get control, get the upper hand.
Well, there are a lot of methods in place. There's a lot of stuff in place already. It's a big reason why certain gun advocates and gun right owners who follow a little bit more than just the mainstream media understand that the gun rights argument is a lot bigger than the way it's being presented in the mainstream media and with the average person who may be a liberal to say, get all the guns out of here. We don't want any guns. They truly don't understand what's going on out here right now. It's a lot deeper than what the average person sees. I do not believe, and this is my personal belief, that every one of these incidents that people have seen has been as organic as they would like you to believe. And so being to, U.S., former Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder's statement, the way they report these shootings is always reported the same way. And within the hour, they'll already be talking about more gun legislation. They don't even let it go a day before they're already talking about more gun legislation.
Okay.
So it leads me to believe, just by the way this is going, that they would really love to get these guns out of the American public's hand. Will they be successful? I don't think they'll be successful.
Was the moon landing fake?
I don't know.
Okay.
I listen to there's a video up on YouTube with is it Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin, and he's at an elementary school, and the girl asked him about why we haven't been to the moon, and Buzz Aldrin answers. He said, "Well, he masked it in his statement. He's answering, well, we never went to the moon." He literally says this out, and people have doubted that for years. But here's Buzz Aldrin, because the girl asked him, say, well, how come we have not been back to the moon since then? And in the course of his answers, he said, no, we never went to the moon. You can look that up. That's easy. It's on YouTube. And you can judge for yourself what he was saying, what he was really trying to say to this child. It's clear. It's plain and clear. The audio, the video is great.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sister Ebony, I gave you a nice little break.
You did.
But I'm coming back to you.
You did.
And last time I asked you a question, you said, yeah, I'll just go with what he said.
No, I'm just saying, I got to follow behind that. Mine was just going to be simple.
All right, who
now.
would you love to debate? And don't say Michael Barclift for being a big bully on the radio. I'm exempt.
Anybody who doesn't think that holistic healing works.
Big pharmaceuticals?
Yes, and all their chemicals and everything they want to push. And like, I have a client who comes to me for stress management, and she's not even taking the medications they gave her. But they won't tell her that, oh, well, massage is working for you.
They can't.
True. They can't. They can't say that. They can't legally say that.
What other holistic methods do you endorse?
Aromatherapy, natural herbs, acupuncture, deprivation tanks. I did one of those. It was just amazing. The stress relief that was just gone for 30 minutes of being in the deprivation tank. Or they call them float tanks now.
So this deprivation tank, it took away all your senses? What does it do?
It allowed me to relax all of my senses. If that makes any sense. It allowed me to rest. It allowed my body to not, it encouraged my body to release the stress. Muscular, neurological, circulation, mentally. I was able to just shut my eyes and actually rest.
Was it scary?
I'm borderline claustrophobic. So yeah, I had to open up the little door on it. I couldn't be in it with it enclosed. Other people may not have that problem, but the small space was a problem for me at first. But you just open the door and you're just laying there and the music's playing and you're in the room by yourself, and it was peaceful.
How small is the space?
You could probably be about 6'5", 6'8", and fit in this thing. But you're already in a room. You're in a private room.
So it could hold three of you.
No, it can hold one of you.
3 of you.
Oh.
One of me.
You know what? That's why we're not friends, Mike. We're not friends anymore. We're not friends.
I'm sorry, continue.
But yeah, I strongly know. I know that holistic treatment. I know they call it New Age, but it's been around forever.
Right, it's old age.
So it's not New Age. You know, me personally, I took a herbal supplement to help me with a blood disorder that I have. And the symptoms that I was having was alleviated within 24 hours. So a doctor, they would just be like, well, there's nothing we can do to help that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I try something natural, they can't endorse it.
Can't endorse it.
So.
You've heard of Dr. Sebi?
Yes.
Dr. Sebi?
Yes.
All right. And I guess they got a documentary.
No, I do not believe he died of a cold or whatever it was.
No, you.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody believes
There's
that.
a brother from my hood in Brownsville. His name is Alberto, I think Guerrero, something like that. He got a book out about Dr. Sebi because he went down there. I think he was his photographer or something like that. And he went down there and no matter of fact, he needed treatment for his sister. And he found Dr. Sebi and they connected and he lived down there with him and he wrote a book about it. Yeah.
Nice.
The book is out. Yeah. I haven't checked it out yet, but yeah, I have. I believe in both of what y'all said. Yeah, that's a good answer.
You should let me go first because his was more in depth.
But mine actually
He just
ties into
talks
what
longer. You know? These Moorish guys, you know, they can talk.
Like
They
he's
can,
not
all right, so y'all want my answer? Who would I love to debate?
Yes.
Anybody want to take a guess?
Jerry Jones?
You? It's not
Jimmy
Jerry.
Iovine.
Jimmy Iovine. Death Row? Is that who that is?
Nah, Interscope.
Interscope. Okay. No. I don't want to debate anybody from hip hop. And I don't want to debate anybody from sports. Although I might be interested a little bit with some of these people, because some of these people could just learn a couple of lessons. More on that in a minute. But I think I want to debate the Jehovah's Witnesses. I think I have a fantasy scenario where I stand up and I tell them everything that's wrong with their religion, and let them know that the shit y'all did to us as kids, you know, was not that great. You know, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I would love to, like, you know, have a moment where, like, you know, me and Brother Jenkins is just sitting there, you know, and I could be like, yeah, man, so when I was 12, y'all told me this, and, you know, and now I've done comparative study, and, you know, and you know, the problem is that
wasn't that founded over the last, like, maybe 130
yeah,
years
like
or something?
1890 something. But
Yeah.
the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is the official corporate name. But you know, the social damage that it caused when, you know, my parents did not support my career, in part because you know, they were Jehovah's Witness, and, you know, hip hop and dirty rap music is not something that was allowed. And then, you know, of course, you know, not celebrating any holidays and birthdays. And then, you know, what's the final straw is when, you know, my brother got disfellowshipped. And I've said this many times, but when my brother got disfellowshipped, which is when you become a Jehovah's Witness and then for whatever reason you decide to leave or get kicked out for conduct that doesn't fit to their standards, they're no longer allowed to speak to you. And so my mother and my brother didn't speak for 30 years, you know, and this is still going on. And I've spent half my adult life trying to get them to come together.
Wow.
and find, you know, a moment. And honestly, I can tell you this. I've been trying this for years, and last week, for the first time, during Hurricane Dorian, my brother called my mom. She answered, and they talked for a quick minute. It wasn't all in depth.
Yeah.
But it was the first drip. The first drop.
Yeah, that's
you
good,
know,
man.
and this is my life's work.
Yeah.
Me, you know, my older brother, who's approaching 60 years old now, has lived, you know, most of his adult life without his mom in his life, and it doesn't seem like anybody cares. You know, he doesn't have a wife. He don't have anybody in his life that is that close person that he can talk about something that's personal with, except for me, and so that's who I would debate.
How do they enforce that though? Like
snitches. We'll leave it at that. We'll be right back after this break. It's the Street 16 podcast.
You're now listening to the Street 16 podcast. Every night working out, arguing, cursing out. Anybody passing by innocently asking why bad should be happening. I'm used to the facts of life. Just try to keep it on point, but the each is on born and the golly state fell to a weaker form. Rolling up blunt, smoking weed on the preacher's lawn, hollering at 3 different bitches on a speakerphone. Why do I do the wrong thing? Then I move along to some worse shit. Need to turn my computer on. Burn the circuits to the chips and the motherboard. Struggle for life, but I'm up in the club with y'all. Shaking them dice, stuck that, and we let it broad. Got white bitches hollering, I'm in love with y'all. Uncover raw clothes when a rubber call. I'm just a sucker for sinning and shit.